And shadow marches.
Good morning and welcome back to Gaming with ADHD. It is January 1st, and let's be honest, folks, is there a better way to start the new year than with a nice heaping helping of Eberron? Hey, Surface. What's up,
Hi.
buddy?
Lots of things are up, like the temperature, but you know.
Okay. Anyways,
is that a your face joke?
It was a your face joke that I didn't understand because I got headphones on.
Well, your face too. Peanut gallery.
Hold on a second.
You're silly.
Anyhow, it's like the one stream I want to be a little more professional, but she's had like weeks of being able to just be a turd in the background, and she thinks she gets to still do that. Anyhow,
it's adorable that you think that this stream is professional.
It's the more professional one.
No, your review videos are your professional videos. This is on par with your painting streams.
Come on, we're organized. We have a topic. You know, it's not just anyways. See what I have to deal with, folks. Anyway, so since this is the first time you've been on my channel since then, did you have a good set of holidays?
Sure. I definitely didn't get stressed out so badly and wish for the world to end at all.
I mean,
or even several times over.
Are you here?
Spiritually.
Fair enough. Are the kids still alive-ish and happy?
They're alive.
They're alive. See? Then it couldn't have been all bad. No, it was good for me. It's actually just been really chill. I'm still working, so what are we gonna do? Anyhow, I guess anything else fun or exciting we should BS about while we wait for whoever's going to show up in chat today.
And random grim ghosts.
And random grim ghosts.
Hold on. If I position here, that shouldn't happen too often. Yeah, I was just double checking. Did we go over the Morholds and Kabara last time?
We did, because remember, Kabara's the one where who was it that quote unquote?
Oh, Hakatui. Yeah, I remember.
Hakatui?
Hakatavak, but I was calling it Hakatui.
I am going to take your word on that. Oh, Hakatorvak. Hakatorvak. There we go.
Yeah.
The Hakatorvak girl. Yeah. Anyhow, yeah, no, we got through that one. So yeah, we are on the Shadow Marches, and theoretically, we might be able to finish off the life in Eberron today. Anyhow,
well, technically, there's 5 more nations of Eberron for Corvair to cover, and then there's technically little snippets of beyond Corvair, like Arenal and stuff like that, Zendrick. But
we're on page 198, and we've got to get to 226, 225 ish. And so if we can get there.
224 and 225 is literally the history of the world.
I know. I'm just saying, if like, there's a chance we could finish life in the world today. Not that anyone cares, but we'll see. But if we get that done, then what is it? 2, maybe 3 more weeks, and then we're done with this?
No, then you're done with me. That's how you pronounce it.
No, done. No. I'll never quit you, Seraphis. Anyhow, all right. You know what? With that said, let's go ahead and just get into this. How about we do that?
Sounds good. In theory.
All right. So, where's my notepad? All right. So, for those of you out in Chatland who may not have been here last time we did this, we are cutting it down even further how much we are covering on each of these. So if you feel like you would like to know more, please check the Eberron campaign setting. There's a link in the description to Drive-Thru-RPG where you can pick up a PDF. In addition, as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all those fun things. Feel free to participate in chat. We'll allow it, but otherwise,
just like Watsy, we will allow you to do things.
Exactly. So, all right, the Shadow Marches. Let's go ahead and get started. All right. Commonly, the region known as the Shadow Marches conjures images of a fetid Blackwater where illiterate humans mingle with orcs and other foul creatures and practice strange rites by the light of the moons. These images are accurate to a point. A desolate land of swamps and moors, the Shadow Marches have been orc territory for more than 30,000 years. The region has suffered through a terrible war against the Daelkyr that scarred the land, stranded horrible creatures in the shadows, and divided the orc tribes. The Daelkyr were eventually defeated, but the schisms caused by the war remain. Approximately 1,500 years ago, humans landed on the western shore of the Shadow Marches. There we go. These refugees fled Sarlona to escape the growing power of the Inspired and collided with the orcs. Despite periods of racial violence over the millennia, humans and orcs have formed close ties. Today, humans and orcs live alongside each other in savage tribes and civilized communities. Almost all the half-orcs of Khorvaire can trace their ancestry back to the Marches. Set behind the monster-filled wilderness of Droam, the isolated Shadow Marches missed most of the events that occurred in central Khorvaire. The rise of the Kingdom of Galifar went unnoticed by the clans of the Marches, as did many of the defining moments in the kingdom's history. The Shadow Marches might have remained isolated to the present day if not for a House Civis fact-finding expedition that discovered Eberron dragon shard deposits in the region 500 years ago. The gnomes of House Civis planned to extract the dragon shards, but the Marches clans had no intention of allowing outsiders to strip their land. The encounter brought another resource to light, however. The Sarlonan refugees who had come to the Shadow Marches had developed the Mark of Finding, and over the generations, the mark had been spread across a number of clans. The encounter with House Civis spurred the marked clans to action. Over the next few years, these clans joined together to form House Thrashk, develop the powers of the mark, and use it to locate the major dragon shard deposits in their realm. In time, this new house established the port of Zarashak as a point of contact with the outside world, and was eventually recognized by the other dragon-marked houses as a legitimate member of their elite fellowship. Over the past 3 centuries, House Thrashk has grown in size and influence. Thrash prospectors, inquisitives, and bounty hunters can be found across Khorvaire. While House Thrashk has emerged into the light, however, the Shadow Marches as a whole remain one of the dark places of Khorvaire, a mysterious region hiding ancient secrets and deadly creatures. All right. So to me, sounds essentially this is, I think, what if you want a barbarian character, this is where you're coming from.
No, if you want a cool barbarian character, this is where you come from.
Okay, if you want a cool barbarian character.
because you can do it in the Demon Waste as well, but there you're more,
That's true. Okay. If you want a non-monster barbarian,
a non-dredge of civilization.
yeah. And even then, I mean, let's be honest. You live in a swamp, so
But it's a nice swamp.
it's a nice swamp. I mean, look, when you have places such as Slug Keep or, Blackwater Lake, I mean, it all just sounds like wonderful to hang out in. Right? Maybe.
Hey, maybe they just like to name things more literal, okay?
That's probably fair.
I mean, this is coming from someone who, looks at Blackwater Lakes and goes, yeah, can't really complain about that. We've got a lake that we literally called Blue Lake. Or, we called that big giant desert in the middle of the country the Great Sandy Desert.
That's true. I mean, sometimes humans are not the most creative at naming things.
Have you heard about the Sydney Opera House? I'm just saying, naming things sometimes, you just gotta be literal about it.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, no, I mean, again, this is like essentially you want your half orcs, you want your humans, your Mexa orcs. You think this is where the Mexa orcs would be from?
I'm not gonna touch that.
Come on. I just realized I was cutting like half my face off.
Look, you just said like they've got like Slug Keep and Blackwater Lake.
Hey,
Lantern. Huh?
They've changed up, the orcs so that they look, they look like Mexicans now. I'm just wondering, would they still fit into Eberron in the Shadow Reach or the Shadow Marches?
5th edition ones? No. Nothing about 5th edition fits into Eberron. Ironically, considering that Watsy created the goddamn setting. And I mean that literally, goddamned.
I know you do. All right, go ahead and tell us about Zarashak.
Yes, Zarashak.
Since it's the only major settlement.
Pretty much. So, small city of 5,960-ish people. Because overland travel through Durham or the Eldine Reaches can be extremely dangerous, most people who need to do business in the marches travel by ship to the port city of Zarashak, sometimes called the City of Stilts, due to the supports that keep it above water. Oh, I've seen a picture of this. Oh, that's what that was. Okay. Known for its exotic cuisine and music, Zarashak offers the rare exports of the land without the difficulty of navigating the marshes. House Tharashk oversees the city, but clans and tribes often come here to sell crafts and other goods, or to celebrate religious rituals such as the Great Feast of Baldra, which really doesn't really give you a lot about the city. And you're muted. You're muted.
It really doesn't. Compared to what they've done with the other cities, or the other nations, like this is like nothing. It's like, here's the capital city, and it's a stilt town.
Yeah, like that was the only thing that made me think of a picture I've seen of orcs on stilts and buildings in the background on stilts above a marshland, and me going, that's kind of weird. It's also got a bit of a Japanese...
Like that
yeah,
one?
that. Yeah, there's another image similar to this as well. And I've always been like, I wonder what exactly that's from. It's Zerashk. That's cool. And, see, they've kind of got like a Japanesey type style to them as well.
I mean, yeah, it's just, again, like, they gave us a paragraph. You
Yeah.
know? Like, it's the base of operations for House Thrashk. There's humans and orcs and half orcs, all that kind of stuff. And they tell, like, this gives us nothing.
Yep.
And it's a Corvair. Anyways, I'm very confused at the moment. And they don't even have an entry for, like, they put it on. Okay, now I'm really confused. Okay, here's our map. There's really like 4 places. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, there's like 8, but whatever. But like, okay, so we have Zarashak, Petraken. That's got to be probably worth a mention. But what I'm really annoyed about, you have a place called Slug Keep. What is this? Is this a fort? Is this like, I don't know. Why is it called? I want to know. And there's no mention of it.
Well, given the what do we call it? The map key that we've been shown earlier, Slug Keep, Lantern Tower, and unnamed dot in the middle, the square with
this one right here.
Yep, those would be fortifications of some kind. And Tandral.
Here's another one down here.
Yeah.
No, but my point is just that, like, okay, so we've got Zarashak, but then it's like okay, so there's okay for the important sites. Okay. Doesn't say a whole lot, and then we've got
Varrock's Cave, yep.
Varrock's
Pond
Cave.
of Shadows, and then the Eberron Dragon Shard Field.
Right. Which
none of them are listed on the map either.
Right. It's like I've been really happy with how they've presented everything so far, and they just I don't know how they completely dropped the ball on this one. And I also don't understand why I'm so irrationally angry over this.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure the Silver Flame can help you.
Yes, the consolation that the Silver Flame eradicated the lycanthropes does bring me great comfort every day.
I mean, I guess it does kind of add to the mystery of this part of Corvair, but at the same time, it doesn't really... It's more annoying than anything else because there's nothing else there.
Right.
Like, there's some interesting points, and I would like to know what those are, and they give us nothing.
Right. And then the book that covers Corvair, because there's no Secrets of Corvair. I think they just did like the 5 Nations book, Sharn, but I don't think they had another book to cover like the rest of the nations on Corvair.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, your other books are Secrets of Solona, Secrets of Zendrick, Dragons of Eberron, which covers Arganessen, and that's it. Everything else just kind of relates to the dragon marks, or I guess maybe dragon marks might have a little bit more about House Thrashk in it, but
we'll see sometime in 3816.
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at an important site. Should we do Varrock's Cave or the Pond of Shadows?
Well, the Pond of Shadows at least gives us a point of reference, which is it's towards the north of Glum River, and that's actually on the map.
Oh, yeah, which one's Glum River?
So Glum Town. So Glum River would be the one just west of it. East of it. I know my directions. Yeah. So that there would be Glum River.
I'm gonna concede that fact to you, but again, our map is still not marked.
I know. But what else do we have?
That's fair. All right, let's do the Pond of Shadows. All right, deep in the swamps toward the north of the Glum River, a still mist-shrouded pool of inky black water waits to reveal secrets that have passed, that are present, and that have yet to be. Legends claim that one can stare into the black water and the mists that rise off it to see omens and portents related to Eberron, the land between. The price for such knowledge doesn't come cheaply. The ties to chaos and madness, so strong throughout the marches, are doubly so here. When the conditions are right, a visitor can take 1 point of wisdom drain to glean a secret from the prophetic pond. Stories tell of the old woman of the swamp, a gnarled human, or orc, or goblin, depending on who tells the tale, who has surrendered all sanity to learn the secrets of yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Did we just get lore and mechanics in that?
Yes.
That is the first time they've done that in one of these things that we've covered.
I mean, there's probably been others. Don't forget, we have skipped over a bunch of stuff. But no,
and I've reread them afterwards. I don't remember mechanics coming up.
So I'll admit, I like this. This just sounds fun. For all the complaining we've done over the last 10 minutes. You know. This right here, this is some great, just, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like adventure seeds. Okay.
Yeah.
Either randomly coming upon the pool, or, sent on a quest to find it, or, you run into the old one. I want to know who the old woman of the swamp is.
Oh, I would totally play her like Baba
Yaga?
Huh?
Baba Yaga?
No.
I think you could.
I mean, a little bit, but oh crap, what's her name? The Witch of the Wilds from Dragon Age. That's just so much in line with that it's scary.
Well, and it's a common fantasy trope, just that old witch in the woods. That is she helpful? Is she crazy? Is she gonna, turn you into a gingerbread cookie? What?
Yeah, but the best thing about the Witch of the Wilds from Dragon Age is that she's voiced by Kate Mulgrew.
Okay, that's fair.
Captain Janeway from Star Trek Voyager.
I know who Kate Mulgrew is. Anyways, point being, this alone, it doesn't make up for all of the failings in this section. But I still like it. I don't know why. This one just sounds fun right now.
And see, I wanted to ponder, when you're saying how these could be adventure hooks and things like that. I wanted to say something, but I'm very scared that it could be an idea of an adventure hook at the end of the chat of this section.
Well, you're up, so you get to pick the adventure hook that we look at.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. So adventuring ideas. Oh, I'm right there. Where do I look? Glum River.
Oh, and right here, this image. Don't tell me this isn't Baba Yaga's hut, but in Eberron.
Oh no! That's 100% the old witch's lair. Whether she's Baba Yaga or not, up for debate. But everything else, yeah. So the The body of a goblin trader, renowned for his ability to sniff out lost hordes, recently floated down one of the muddy tributaries of the Glum River, only a few weeks after he set out, boasting he was on the verge of the find of a lifetime. He still wears in a pouch around his neck a fragmentary map, a sketch of an unusual orrery, and a strangely carved dragon shard.
Yeah, he totally ran into the old woman of the woods.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The question is, did it go well and it ended badly, or did it go badly and it ended badly?
I think you can play it up literally any direction you want.
I know, right?
And I think it could. Oh man.
This is just amazing. They did not give us enough, and yet at the same time, our imagination is running wild with this.
Yes, exactly. That is literally a perfect way to describe it. Like, I'm still angry over this over this segment. Because it's like you don't get any locations that are marked on like I didn't see any locations that were marked on the map. That were talked about in the segments. So anyhow,
and yet we've almost got an adventure planned out. Yet we didn't. Yet we didn't. One location was marked that was talked about. Everything else has been
right. Well, no. There was the one city that they talked about that was marked, but all the important locations, none of the important locations were marked on the map. Anyways, but whatever. We're gonna go find the old woman of the woods, go insane, and figure out. You know what it's gonna be. We're gonna figure out the Draconic prophecy. That's what the adventure is.
See, that's where I was thinking that this was going to go, because I was like, oh wait, it's basically got a connection seemingly directly to Eberron, maybe to the Draconic prophecies. This would be a great spot for it to turn out that she's actually like an ancient great worm in disguise who's been using this site to kind of gleam the entirety of the dragon prophecy, and it's now kind of got this split personality thing where sometimes it remembers what it's meant to be doing and other times thinks it's disguise that it's an old crazy lady in the woods.
Oh, you just made this even better than I didn't even get anywhere near that good. That's lore now. That's official, folks. Just apply this to your games of Eberron and it will be canon and fact. So
I feel like you're just adding to what I'm going to have to be running for.
No. We're sticking with the Forgotten Forge. It's very simple, nice, small, contained. But I did just to throw it out. It's still not as cool, but just my idea of the old woman in the woods. She's a manifestation of Eberron. Like the dragon projecting himself out.
Or a manifestation of
for the record,
killing Sybaris Kyber part of Kyber.
Or and hear me out and keep in mind, I still like your idea better. Yours is again, we have established that your description is canon here. Or it is a crazy old lady that is being influenced by both Kyber and Eberron. And so the fight is ongoing, and that's why she seems crazy.
In her head.
Right.
So here's this like probably half orc old woman who was just living in this area, and for some reason realized that this pond was just a little bit weird and special, and sometimes it gave her the ability to kind of sense things. And all of a sudden, Eberron and Kyber simultaneously decided to leech onto her and have their metaphysical war battle inside her head.
Well, but you can easily justify it because it's not just randomly decided to happen. Okay, the Shadow Marches. What are they known for? They're known for the concentration of Eberron shards. Okay, so what's a shard of Eberron? It is a literal manifestation of the remains of Eberron. Okay, same thing with the shards, the Sybaris shards or the Kyber shards. Okay, so
no, Eberron and Kyber shards, they're just the dragons molting.
No, work with me here, Seraphis. Come on. Anyways, my point is, like, actually, I'll even bring in some extra Eberron lore here. The manifest zones. This is an Eberron manifest zone. Hence all the Eberron shards.
Oh, that's trippy.
But, because think about like the Underdark, that's that would be a Kyber manifest zone.
But the material world is the zone of Eberron, but you're saying Eberron manifest zone would be a link directly into Kyber's Eberron's consciousness.
Yes.
A progenitor creator god's psyche, and this woman has just been living next to it. Oh my god, no wonder she's crazy.
Right. And then on top of it, it's a swamp. Swamps are associated with death and decay. So, like Kyber is trying to push his influence into the area. Hence why she's managed, somehow they've managed to leak and she's gone insane.
Oh, so the Eberron manifest zone is at the top of the pond, and at the bottom of the pond, there's a Kyber manifest zone that's trying to create a link into and create the corruption and darkness into the Shadow Marches.
Sure.
And the pond is mixing the two of them, and she's just caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, and pity this poor goblin who just I'm find of a lifetime. Nope. I mean, find of a lifetime, but you do not put it back.
Is it really worth it?
I would like the record to show I still hate this section, but man, this has been fun. Anyways,
one thing I'm happy about is that this is being recorded so that I can go back and take notes afterwards.
No kidding.
I'm taking all the notes after this.
Well, how about you just, all right, we got to move on. I was hoping to finish this today. We're 30 minutes in. We've gone 4 pages.
It's okay. It's a good track record. All right, the Talenta Plains. The Talenta Plains spread out to the east from Karnath and the Mournland, reaching for the mountains of Ironroot and Endworld. This flat tableau, not quite sure, tableau of rugged grassland gives way to the punishing heat and sand of the Blade Desert before rising into the forlorn peaks and crumbling cliffsides of the Endworld Mountains. Across this vast expanse, herds of buffalo-sized dinosaurs run wild, and halflings wander in nomadic tribes. The halflings control a territory bordered by Karnath, the Moorholds, Kabara, Valinar, and the Mournland. Every year, the Blade Desert seems to creep farther into the grasslands, but as long as life can be squeezed from the plains, the Talenta halfling tribes will survive. The halfling tribes of the Talenta Plains struggle to keep their ancient traditions and heritage alive despite the lure of the comforts and advances of the Five Nations. Many people of Central Corvair have a certain picture in mind when they think of the Talenta Plains. Halfling barbarians riding dinosaurs, performing heathen rituals, engaging in strange customs, and wearing strange clothing. All of these images ring true, but it is a partial truth. The culture and rituals of the halfling tribes are simpler, more archaic than the customs and practices of those living in the more civilized nations. These rituals can be cruel, harsh, and primitive by some standards, but they also possess a beauty, sophistication, and wonder all their own. Where part of each tribe embraces tradition, part also feels the pull of modern thoughts and ideas. So far, the tribes have balanced these two competing forces, but a day may come when tradition must bend to modernization or be twisted and broken by its unrelenting weight. Hello, Kokobi. Karnath and Sire both claimed parts of the Talenta Plains during the last war. Prior to the fall of the Kingdom of Galifar, the halfling tribes were permitted to wander their ancestral lands as long as they paid tribute to the Galifar king. With the coming war, with the coming of war, the halfling tribes began to cooperate in unprecedented ways to protect the plains that all the tribes revered. Warriors of different tribes banded together, repelling invaders from Karnath and Sire by using their knowledge of the ways of the plains to confuse and confound the invaders. Later, when the plains became the place for various combatant nations to clash, the halfling tribes tried to stay out of the way. As the war progressed, the halfling tribes settled more and more of their ancient grievances, creating a nation of nations that stretched across the Talenta Plains. War councils, tribal meetings, and gatherings celebrating victories and festivals important to the halfling tribes replaced the minor skirmishes that once punctuated tribal interactions. When the time came for the powers involved in the last war to meet and discuss forging a lasting peace, the halfling tribes sent agents representing their tribal council. With the signing of the Treaty of Thronehold, the territory of the Talenta Plains was recognized as a sovereign nation composed of loosely aligned halfling tribes. The halflings have wandered the Talenta Plains since before the first humans reached Corvair's shores. Once these nomads ranged far and wide, traveling across the open land that is now the Mournland, Karnath, Valinor, and the Talenta Plains. With the coming of the humans and the rise of the Five Nations, the halflings found their territory shrinking as human settlements encroached on the wide open plains. At times, the halflings attempted to hold their position and drive the humans away, and a number of bloody battles punctuate the shared history of the two races. In the end, the two races found common ground and eventually discovered a way to peacefully coexist, the last war notwithstanding. Halflings of the plains continue to live in tribal units as they have for thousands of years. These tent-dwelling nomads spend a great deal of their lives on the backs of the small dinosaurs that share the plains with them. Small is a relative term. The dinosaurs of the plains are certainly smaller than the great creatures that roam Zendrick and the swamps of Kabara, and some grow as large as elephants, though most range from the size of a small dog to the size of a cow. Driving cattle, tribex, and herbivorous dinosaur herds that provide them with the essentials of life, food, drink, and material for clothing and shelter. The halflings show consummate skill in the capture, training, and riding of dinosaurs. Using fast runners such as Clawfoot and Feasteth dinosaurs as mounts, the halflings are accomplished riders trained from the earliest age to not only control the beasts but fight from them with bows, blades, and boomerangs. To the halflings of the plains, the dinosaurs they bond with are more than mounts. They are partners, providing the means to herd, hunt, travel, and protect the tribe. They respect and even revere these special creatures, demonstrating this respect through the artistic and frightening hunt masks they craft. Each hunt mask, tied to a halfling's mount and crafted with exacting care by each rider, represents the power of feral nature of the bonded dinosaur. When a halfling dons his hunt mask, he proudly proclaims his connection to his dinosaur and takes on the feral personality of the hunt. Indeed, a halfling believes that his spirit combines with his bonded dinosaur when he dons his hunt mask. Already, this is just a lot. I'm just saying. Like, just this is just halflings done in such a different way. Like, these aren't your Tolkien halflings, is what I'm getting at.
No, they're not, and it's actually a good. I mean, I'm reading it and like I'm here. All I'm seeing is like outer Mongolia, you know, which is probably what they were going for.
Although I will say, the vast Mongolian expanse with a little bit of like 1900s Australia as well, especially with the Aboriginal tribes. It's there's some really interesting flavor just in who these halflings are, basically.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I like the description. I wish we would have gotten half as much, additional description as we got in the Shadow Marches section.
Three kinds of halflings live across Corvair. There are the tribal halflings of the Talenta Plains, who hold to the most ancient customs and traditions and are considered primitive by most people in the Five Nations. There are the city halflings, whose ancestors long ago left the plains and subsequently raised descendants who have become fully integrated with life in the human nations. The third type of halfling, usually working for one of the two dragon-marked halfling families, is comfortable in both environments and moves between the cultures with little difficulty. These halflings make up their traditional garb and bonded dinosaurs when they visit their plains. When they visit the plains, later putting them aside to again don clothing and mannerisms that will better serve them in the towns and cities of the Five Nations.
Yeah, that was a long one. I don't have anything additional to add, but yeah, it is also kind of interesting seeing a nation that is trying to stick to those traditional, quote unquote tribal roots, but also acknowledging no, we have to be modern. We have two of the dragon marked houses, amongst our race, things like that. So this is done way better than the Shadow Marches. Already I'm much more impressed.
My only question is, will this also spur on our imagination for an adventure, or will it have the same level as the previous ones?
Well, I mean, right now, we've got Gatherhold, Crescent, and Boneyard are the only locations marked. Oh, and then the Blade Desert. So we'll see, because I'm currently scrolling to get to the locations. I like this.
On dinosaurs.
This is a great. I don't think I've ever noticed this piece of art. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And although I will say, with that bit of artwork though, did you notice that even though we've kind of come to this kind of Mongolian kind of thought about how their culture is, what does their appearance suggest though?
Sort of like a Native American.
Native American crossed with Middle Eastern motifs.
Yeah. They're like appropriating every culture in this. It's great.
Yeah. But they're doing it in different ways and in different styles, which at least...
So you're saying these aren't Mexa halflings?
No.
Come on, halfling tacos. Very tasty. Surface is never coming on my show again. It's like I can't be associated with this.
For someone who doesn't want me bringing up Eberron 5th edition, you sure go to a lot of efforts to try and reference 5th edition and then equating it to Eberron.
No, my son got the new DMG for Christmas, and
all you can see is Mexican.
And I still laugh at that. But the funny thing is, like, okay, so this piece of art, so 2004, okay, like, I have to admit, art is almost make or break on something like this.
Yep.
Okay. Like, okay, my mild bit of a tangent. Have you ever read the Wheel of Time books? Robert Jordan, like 14 books. Brandon Sanderson had to finish off the series because the guy died.
No.
Okay. Anyways, I was talking with Kim about this earlier. Because my oldest has started reading those books.
Right.
So I don't usually go for fantasy stuff. Give me some science fiction all day long. But my mom got me the very first book for Christmas 34 years ago. Okay. So I loved the books. Okay. And he was putting out like a book a year. Anyways, eventually they did the World of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. And basically it was a big it's just like an encyclopedia book. Here's this place, here's these people, collect all of this massive amount of information and stick it in one. And the art was so bad in this book, it made me irrational. Like, to this day, I am irrationally angry about this. This is one reason I use that phrase, because I've used it like 10 times today. And the thing is, even if it's a good piece of art, if it like good technically, just like the technical skills are there, but it's like the Mexican orcs from D&D 5th edition or 2024 edition, whatever. That's a horrible piece of art. It looks stupid. Okay. And it
the gay dwarves look stupid.
Also that. I just wanted to laugh about the Mexi orcs. Anyways. But then you get a piece of art like this. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we can easily pull out 3 or 4 different cultures or nations or things that inspired the look of this dude riding a dinosaur.
Yeah. And
none of it feels like a parody, an insult, something pandering. None of it is taking us out of our immersion, but instead is drawing us in. Pulling us. It's like, ooh, I want to be that halfling on a dinosaur because that just looks cool. It's a cool looking dinosaur. He's got a spear. The clothes look cool. Whole 9 yards. I would pull in. And you know what? He'd probably even make some killer tacos. I don't know. I actually heard Peanut Gallery saying that. So it's one of those crazy things that I mean, if you get bad art, it just is going to ruin it. But even this is 20 years ago. And just fantastic art on this. Anyways, I needed to rant on that.
No, and I'll slightly add to that because not only is it inspiring you to not only think about, oh, look at these different aspects that they've pulled to kind of make this come together and work, it now kind of inspires you to go, if I was going to make something up, what would I want to pull on to create something unique and different just like this?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the other thing. We're pulling things that we identify, but we're still seeing something that is very unique and very different. It's like let's be honest. When have you heard about dinosaur riding halflings anywhere?
True. But they've also picked things and done them in a way where they also have blended together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we mentioned about, Mongolian influence, Native American influence,
Probably some
Middle
air.
Eastern influence.
Yeah, exactly.
But they've done it
air.
in a way where it's all blended together that you're not being like, oh, well, they don't look like they go together. Like, this all seamlessly has been put together.
Yeah. Why couldn't
It's funny to see how far Watsy has fallen.
Actually, no, you know what? And the funny thing is, I'm gonna go back to complaining again. Okay. Because also let's look at this piece of art. Okay. Versus this piece of art. I don't even think this is necessarily a bad piece of art. But
It's a different style.
It is a different style, but this doesn't give me the same kind of inspiration that the halfling on a dinosaur does.
True, but
this
still does give me ideas of like, how the people of the Shadow Marchers would be dressing, what their daily lives would be like, and things like that. Some of the influences of the real world that kind of inspired their look and stuff. But yeah, I agree. It doesn't give you.
Well, maybe I'm going a little overboard. This seems a little more. I don't think it is in reality, but this seems a little more pandering compared to the halfling piece of art.
I think this one's just more simple than the other one.
Maybe
because as well as you do have like those cultural influences that you can see in it, but it's also more reminiscent of more common D&D art. Whereas the halfling is not.
That's fair.
The halfling is more reminiscent of stuff you'd see as, say, Wayne Reynolds' cover art.
Yeah, either a cover art or a back cover art, something like that. Something that's given a little bit more prominence.
Yeah.
That's true.
As I said, I don't see the half-orc being bad. It's just more reminiscent of being common D&D art. Whereas this is not common D&D art. This is more your fanciful art. Someone took more time and more care and more thought into what they were doing.
Yeah, that's that. Okay, I'll go with that. And that's the other thing. I didn't like choosing that word. I just didn't have a better one. Because that's the other thing. 20 years ago, I don't think it would have been pandering at all.
No.
It just it doesn't have that same level of impact I think this one does.
It is much better.
Exactly. All right, let's So we only have the one major settlement, which is Gatherhold, which is a large town built into the rocky outcroppings and hills along the eastern shore of Lake Sire. Is a shared town. All the halfling tribes can use it. The tribes come to the town to trade, hold celebrations, attend tribal councils, or find protection from the elements or hostile forces. House Galanda maintains the town and keeps presence here even when all the tribes are away. So I'm gonna give the same complaint on this one that I did on Thrash Thrashik, or
Yep.
but I think we can justify this one a little bit more, partly because like they're pushing the tribal nature, the fact that all of the tribes. Like, I mean, you look at the map, there were literally three places marked on it. So, I can understand them say not having a ton of information. Although I'm still going to say, yeah, it should have been a little bit better.
Although I do find it amusing that also, okay, I'm going to phrase this first just because of what I'm going to say next, but the halflings are hardcore.
Okay.
Because where do they decide to set up essentially their capital? On the eastern side of Lake Sire.
Okay.
What's on the western side of the lake?
Well, now the Mournland.
Exactly.
No, but they wouldn't have set up the capital. The capital would have been there for, well,
they're nomadic.
No,
they could have easily moved it. But where have they decided to keep it? On the opposite side of where essentially death and danger awaits. That's pretty hardcore.
That's
and
true.
what do they do for fun? Ride dinosaurs. Halflings are hardcore in Eberron.
No, they are. I'll give you that. And again, everything is set up a lot better, I think, than the Shadow Marches. Man, I am stuck on that today. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like, I mean, there's reasons that you don't move a city. It's a fixed location. The lake isn't necessarily tainted. It's just the other side, is where the Mournland starts. So it's probably still safe. I don't know. But we do need to talk about Crescent.
I wanted to do Crescent. Why Crescent?
Let me read it for you. Okay. This ancient ruin is all that remains of a Coatl city from ages past. The halflings tend to avoid the site since it is home to a tribe of benevolent Yuan-Ti who honor and revere the Coatl and the Silver Flame.
Can I just point out that, like the orc tribe, orc and goblin tribes of the Demon Wastes, they're probably more faithful to the origin of the Silver Flame. These UNT, they're probably more faithful to the origin of the Silver Flame than the current Silver Flame Order is.
Look, you know what? But I bet you anything, they still don't like them lycanthropes. Anyways, what location did you want to talk about?
Actually, I was looking at the Boneyard and the Wandering Inn as basically this whole section.
All right, cover it.
Okay, so the Boneyard, tucked away into a valley formed where the Ironroot Mountains meet the Endworld Mountains, the Boneyard contains the ancient remains of colossal dragons. Bones jut from the ground like ivory trees and carpet the floor as thick as deadfalls in a forest. Whether these dragons died in long-forgotten battles or once used the desolate site as a graveyard of sorts, the halflings believe the place is cursed. Indeed, legend claims that to disturb the bones of the dragon of the dead draws the attention of the living, and no one wants to attract the attention of a living dragon. See, the halflings get it. You'd think someone at Stormreach on Zendrick would get that too, but no. Let's just keep sending expeditions into like dragon graveyards.
Look, we're humans. We do things differently.
Speak for yourself, mortal. And then the Wandering Inn, just because this is too funny. Haskalander's Wandering Inn is a traveling fair that moves around the plains. One day, the colorful tents appear beside Lake Sire. Later, they spring up on the steppes near the Iron Root Mountains. The Wandering Inn provides a place for rest and trade for the tribes that range far from Gatherhold.
Okay.
I find that amusing.
Why is that?
Well, for all the adaptation that House Galander has done in being part of the Dragon Marked houses and modernizing, they've still got this part of them in the form of the Wandering Inn that still keeps to potentially their own clan's tradition, you know?
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Actually, no, I had not considered that. Yeah, it's okay. Here is, the mark of hospitality, that
The
comes from a
people who
people that don't stay in one place. So how would they adapt the mark of hospitality to this nomadic tribe? Oh, that's interesting.
And because it's the mark of hospitality, what's hospitality? That's the Heroes Feast and the Feast of Champions stuff.
Yeah.
So here you basically have a Wandering Inn that pops up every now and then, that pops up all over the plains for a big ass party.
You know what it is? It's the Renaissance Fair. It's the Eberron Ren Fair.
No, it's Eberron Renfest.
Same thing.
Renaissance Fair and Oktoberfest.
Okay, that's fair.
It's going to be a good time. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Well, no, it's the fair in spring, and it's the fest in the fall.
And a day later, after the Wandering Inn has been in, House Jurasko's Wandering Hospital comes through in the same location to help everybody get back on their feet.
Exactly. All right, let's see. What do we have for an adventure idea? Okay.
Only got 3, so
right. Well, I'm going to go with the first one based on the boneyard. Someone is stealing dinosaur eggs and interfering with the halfling rights of adulthood. When a bonded dinosaur is set free to mate in the wild, it falls to the next generations of halflings to capture and tame them, or tame the brood that emerges from the freshly hatched eggs. With the recent theft of the eggs, the ancient system of perpetuating the dinosaur bond is in jeopardy. A tribe or halfling house friendly with the adventurers asks for help in this matter. All right. Thrain. Seraphus's absolute favorite nation in all of Eberron.
Yep, that's why you can do it.
All right. The spirit of the Silver Flame took hold of the hearts and souls of the people of Thrain 700 years ago, and promptly got rid of all the lycanthropes. Thrain was one of the original 5 nations founded by the human settlers of Corvair. The culture and heritage of the region goes back millennia. It was absorbed into the kingdom of Galifar and remained a pillar of that celebrated kingdom for almost 1,000 years. While the rest of the 5 nations followed the tenets of the sovereign host, a new religion found life in Thrain before spreading far and wide across Corvair. In the wake of the last war, Thrain stands as a theocracy devoted to the Silver Flame. Thrain Irwinern, third scion of King Galifar I, was appointed to oversee the nation that would eventually carry his name, shortly after his father united the kingdom. As with the other nations, the name was changed to match that of its regent by popular decree in 32 YK. Thrain and the greater kingdom to which it belonged prospered as the decades grew into centuries. In 299 YK, the event that started the religion of the Silver Flame took place. In that year, a terrible eruption split the ground and a great pillar of crimson fire emerged from the resulting chasm. No one understood the significance of the blazing column of flame, but most who dared approach it felt unrelenting malevolence in its radiating heat. Tira Miron, a paladin dedicated to Dol-Ara, received a powerful vision about this strange fire while exploring the western reaches of the realm. In her vision, a great rainbow-winged serpent warned her that a terrible evil was emerging in the east, riding crimson fire from the depths of Kyber itself. Tira rallied the forces of Thrain and defeated the dark creatures, also known as lycanthropes, that had come to venerate the crimson fire and help free the malevolent entity trapped within its flames. Okay, the dark creatures weren't actually lycanthropes, folks. But it sounds funnier that way. With her great sword, Cloinger? Really? All right.
Cloinger.
Sure. Doesn't make it any better. Its pommel capped with a Kyber dragon shard, Tira turned to face the emerging demon, just as the great serpent with the rainbow-feathered wings of her visions appeared and dove headfirst into the fire. Tira watched as the serpent and the demon struggled in the flames. The battle within the fire seemed to last for an eternity, and as she watched, the demon began to overcome the serpent. Horrified, she saw the demon strike a crippling blow. The serpent, calling on its last reserves of power, encircled the demon and buried its fangs into the fiend's fiery throat. At the same moment, it sent a mental plea to Tira, and the paladin didn't hesitate. She leaped into the fire, plunging Cloinger through the writhing serpent and deep into the demon's flesh. Then, the legend says, a powerful explosion rocked the entire kingdom of Galifar. The hot crimson fire became a cool silver flame. Tira remained within, now part of the divine fire that had replaced the evil conflagration. She became the voice of the silver flame, and a new religion was born. Flamekeep, a simple stone castle, was erected around the ever-burning pillar of silver fire. Deep within the chasm, at the point where the fire erupts from the earth, it is said that mighty Cloinger's blade is buried almost to the hilt, binding demon, serpent, and paladin together forever. In time, the castle became a cathedral, and a city grew around it. By 400 YK, the Church of the Silver Flame was the dominant religion in Thrain. The sovereign host, accepting of most faiths, saw the Silver Flame as just another expression of the divine pantheon on Eberron. The Silver Flame, on the other hand, tolerated the host, but had little love for faiths that didn't accept the cleansing light of the Silver Flame. Over the centuries, the kings and queens of Galifar and their sons and daughters who governed the Thrain realm have had a mixed relationship with the faith of the Silver Flame. As the Thrain people began to turn to this faith in droves, the royal family was forced to accept the Church of the Silver Flame as a force within the kingdom. Early on, they tried to restrict it to Thrain, but the faithful were zealous, and missionaries soon appeared to bring the word of the Silver Flame to the rest of the Corvair. More than one scion over the centuries, while governing in Thrain, adopted the faith. One particularly dark episode occurred in 558 YK, when Queen Joliana reached the throne after serving as Thrain's regent. She was a devoted follower of the Silver Flame and decided that under her rule, all of Galifar would accept the Silver Flame as the one true religion. A few bloody clashes almost led to civil war before Joliana died, suddenly and mysteriously before the second year of her reign had ended. When Jarrett died, and the Scions broke with tradition and started the last war, Thalin of Thrain saw another opportunity to spread the Silver Flame to the entire kingdom. While the other Scions had a more personal or philosophical reasons for refusing to honor their traditional rights of succession, Thalin believed that he had a divine right to the crown. This tendency on the part of Thrain to place itself above the rest of the Shattered Kingdom led to some of the most terrible battles of the last war. In 914 YK, with the death of King Thalin, Thrain's people rejected Thalin's heirs' claim to the throne and turned to the Church of the Silver Flame for leadership. Thrain became a theocracy. The Keeper of the Flame, the head of the Church of the Silver Flame, took control of the temporal as well as the spiritual reins of the nation. This turn of events has led to tensions that go beyond the nation's borders, as the leaders of the remaining 5 nations see the mingling of church with crown as unnatural and potentially dangerous to their own plans and ambitions. Today, Jayla Duran serves as the Keeper of the Flame. She assumed power when she was 6 years old. Identified by the Silver Flame as the successor to the church's previous keeper, now 11 years old, Jayla helped guide Thrain through the peace talks and has developed into a caring and forceful leader despite her young age. It isn't unusual for a keeper so young to be selected, but it hasn't happened since the nation became a theocracy. War remains a primary preoccupation for the nation of Thrain. To Jayla's advisors and the other leaders within the theocracy, the current peace presents a chance to rest and prepare for future conflict. Until all nations have accepted the Silver Flame, there will always be enemies at their border waiting to exploit the first show of weakness or hesitation. Jayla believes that with the exception of wiping out true evil, war is a futile endeavor. The Silver Flame doesn't call for war. Indeed, she believes that the flame is saddened by the conflict and has pitted brother against brother. Her power within the theocracy isn't as ironclad as some believe, however, and she has learned to negotiate her course carefully and with much deliberation. As long as most of the spiritual and secular leaders of Thrain want war, the best Jayla can hope it to accomplish is to delay the start for another day, week, or year.
Thank God it's not like a real religion.
I mean, hold on. I mean, clearly there are, we'll say, I don't want to say crusade. But I'm not necessarily certain that the opposite word, or we'll say countervailing word, is more appropriate. I think YouTube doesn't like that one, so we're going to stay away from that word. Starts with a J. But it's, I don't know. I make jokes about the Silver Flame, but this is, I had not read as much on Thrain. I did not realize it had gone full theocracy on this. So,
oh yeah,
this
huh?
I was just gonna say this could be interesting. You could do a lot of adventure seeds based off of that.
Yep.
Say what you want to say, Seraphis. It's okay.
Well, it is interesting that, of all things, that little bit extra, or at least how the legend goes, is that, it started as an eruption of a overfiend.
Well, wasn't
breaching into the world.
Yeah, it wasn't a volcano. It was just earth cracked open, fire, demon.
Yeah. And then one of the last Coatl decided to sacrifice itself to, defeat it.
Sure. So maybe it's not as bad as you think it is.
Or maybe it's worse, because you know what the ancient fiends were?
No.
They were Rakshasa. It was probably an ancient Raj that had escaped the bounds of Khyber.
That's fair.
Which, let's take into consideration. It changed color, but it doesn't stop erupting from below.
Sure, but
That's like saying we cleansed this fire from hell. Now it's good.
I mean, yes.
I'm just saying, I probably would have extinguished it just to be safe.
I mean, so, all right. So a flame that was generated by a fiend
Mm-hmm.
and converted by the power of a coatl
Supposedly.
that was, then, enhanced by the sacrifice of a paladin of Dol-Ara. Please tell me how you're going to put it out. I mean, is a bucket of water sufficient? Are we talking like world level powers required to extinguish it? Maybe keeping it contained is about the best they can do.
Well, let's put it this way. A coatl was involved, which means that the Council of Claw undoubtedly knows about the event, which means that Flamekeep has definitely been visited by representatives from Arganessen. Why didn't they put it out?
And they're still there.
What do you mean?
No, I'm just saying, and Flamekeep is still there. They didn't put it out. So
yes.
Maybe there's something to it. Maybe it's part of the draconic prophecy. Maybe they were supposed to eliminate the lycanthropes.
You're not going to let that go, are you?
I can't. You get so angry about it that it's hilarious. I mean,
that's what I have to say to that.
It's werewolves. They're never the good guy, but you're taking their side.
And halflings never ride around on dinosaurs, except in Eberron. You can't take pre-existing lore from other things and apply it to Eberron.
I mean, that's fair. I'm just saying that, I'm just saying. I only do it because it's funny. That's all.
You have pre-existing biases.
I do. Against the lycanthropes.
Yes.
All right, let's see.
Did you want to listen to the voice?
Listen to the voice?
Scroll down.
Oh. Yeah, how about you do that one for us?
Yep. So, listening to the voice. The voice of the Silver Flame whispers from the depths of the ever-burning fire located in the Cathedral of the Silver Flame in Flamekeep. The voice, said to belong to Tira Moran, usually communicates through the Keeper of the Flame, currently Jala Duran. Others of the faith sometimes hear the crackling voice and may make pilgrimages to Flamekeep in hopes of participating in just such a miracle. However, some scholars outside the faith believe the voice isn't Tira Moran, at least not solely. Some believe that in rare instances, the demonic entity that shares the flame with Tira and the rainbow-winged serpent can speak through the silver flame. In these rare instances, these scholars believe the demon lures people on to acts of terrible evil by whispering to them that they will accomplish good works. Some of the crusades and inquisitions undertaken on behalf of the Silver Flame may fall into this category. The Church of the Silver Flame naturally rejects this theory.
Look, that is just slander and lies meant to dissuade the faithful from their true calling to destroy the lycanthropes.
Well, folks, you heard it here. Brian clearly listens to the ancient Raja that's inside the flame.
We don't know that that's the one that's talking.
There's only 3 beings in there. The Raja, the Coatl, or Tira.
I mean, Tira stabbed the Coatl and the Raja, so why would anyone but her be able to speak? She didn't get stabbed.
Did she get stabbed in the neck? Did any of them get stabbed in the neck?
I don't know. They don't tell us that.
And
I'm just saying.
The other 2 are capable of telepathy, so last time I checked, paladins didn't have the ability of telepathy.
No, but people are hearing the voice. They didn't say that like the voice was coming into their head.
No, but they're hearing the voice from across the continent or across the country. Come on.
Your hatred of the Silver Flame is disappointing, Seraphis.
On brand, really.
It's on brand. Yes, it's definitely on brand. All right, tell us about Flamekeep. No, go ahead. Say what you're going to say. Sorry.
Look, we'll all be fine once we embrace the loving care and gifts of the traveler, okay?
Look, I think you're just saying that because you want the traveler to bring the lycanthropes back. You know.
Hey, well, one day the traveler will come. And there will be marshmallowy goodness. So, Flamekeep, a metropolis of 150,000. Flamekeep grew as the Church of the Silver Flame gained prominence. Built around the impressive Cathedral of the Silver Flame, the city displays flamic architecture at its grandest and most inspiring. As the capital of the nation's secular and religious authorities, Flamekeep is a palace of power and influence.
Okay.
Also, do you know what else has flamic architecture and design?
Not the lycanthropes.
The Rakshasa in the Demon Wastes. I really do how, like, you know, you're like, oh, the religious guys, and then the bad guys. The bad guys and the religious guys have the same architecture, have the same connections. But you're like, nah, they're the good
Look,
guys.
a broken clock is right twice a day.
Anything to say faithful, huh?
All right.
Chamber of the Flame or Shadowcar?
I mean, I think we have to do the Chamber of the Flame just out of principle at this point. All right. Located here. I'll read the location. You figure out our adventure idea. All right, the Chamber of the Flame, located deep within the Cathedral of the Silver Flame. This is the place where the holy light of the Silver Flame burns and the Keeper of the Flame comes to commune with the voice of the Silver Flame. Pilgrims devoted to the faith travel to this holy site to pray, pay homage, and hope for miracles. I mean, pretty cut and dry to me.
I think I'm going to go with the first one.
All right.
The Keeper of the Flame needs adventurers to perform a mission inspired by the voice of the Silver Flame. However, the Keeper doesn't want the Council of Cardinals or the Knights of Thrain to know about it.
I don't think I like what you're implying by this.
Hey, apparently she needs someone outside of the Council of Cardinals and the Knights of Thrain to go make reparations to the lycanthrope. That's how I'm reading it.
Whoa. How are we supposed to make reparations when they're all gone?
Well, see, that's where we, do what we do in the real world and make reparations to the descendants, mainly shifters.
Ah, touche. Okay, so all of our jokes aside, I think we have actually identified a lot of things that you can do with Thrain and with the Church of the Silver Flame. All it takes is one player who's a devoted follower of the Silver Flame. And you as a GM, just start feeding. Like if you want to play the Church of the Silver Flame as a villain, just start feeding things to one of the other players. You don't even have to like this is like the perfect time to just like write the notes and pass it along. And just like, I mean, you're asking for trouble by pitting the players against each other. But man, I think you could have a lot of fun with this.
Oh yeah. This is definitely one way to make PvP at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
paladins to any of the other sovereign hosts, like there could be some problems at the table due to actions and whatnot, but the sovereign host is more ideals. This is straight up fanaticism and crusader mentality stuff. Like this is hardcore devotion to an ideal. And yeah, wow. This will cause problems at the table.
Right. And that's where it could also be just, it does, you don't even necessarily have to push PvP though. Like, I mean, it's easy to go. Like it's real easy to push those buttons. But, you could like just going off of this, the Keeper of the Flame needs adventurers to perform a mission. Okay. So you have the one player who's the devoted follower of the Silver Flame, but you want to play up the aspect. No, this actually came from the Raja, not from the Coatl or the Paladin. So again, play the adventure, go through it. You've got this player who's the devoted follower of the Silver Flame, but then you start, feeding the information. Wait, why does the path that we're going on, why does it have that Flemish architecture? Or why are we being sent to the demon wastes? Or, all of these things that you could do to push the story where, nope, it was the bad guy suggesting it instead of the good guys. So,
or just like that path of like, doing things as the GM to kind of maneuver how things keep happening in the storyline to be in line with the Silver Flame doctrine up until the point where like the rest of the table realizes that meme, are we the baddies?
Yeah, right. Wait. Why did we take out that village of shifters? I mean, I get the lycanthropes, but these are shifters, not lycanthropes.
No, not even that. Like, oh, we just did this, did this quest for the Silver Flame. We need to go wipe out these heathens and whatnot, and you wipe them all out, and then like someone's like the rogue in the group decides to look through the village, like remnants of the village to like loot, and like they don't find any like heretical religious symbols or anything. There's no, everything about it was just, this was just a normal village of seemingly innocent people. Why did we just wipe them all out for the Silver Flame? What? Are we the baddies?
Yeah. No, exactly. And I think there could be a lot of fun with it. Again, even just playing off of, well, and actually here's another thing I thought of. anytime you want to involve the Silver Flame. Like you could just come up with an adventure and then roll a d6. Okay? 1 and 2, it's the demon. 3 and 4, it's the Quaddle. 5 and 6, it's the Paladin. Okay? So you've got a 2 and 3 chance of it being a good mission, but you've got that third of the time, nope, the bad guy got his voice out instead.
Well, actually, no. Would it always be a 2 out of 3 being good? Because the Quattro has the celestial origin, is a child of Sybaris, but a human is a human. The Paladin is a human.
Maybe the Paladin was influenced by the demon or by the Quaddle.
Or maybe they're just going by their own moral sense of what should be right. So you look more towards what Dolara's teachings were and figure out, oh, they're doing something good, but they're doing it good in a way that's more alike to Dolara.
So here's why I will push back on that a little bit. Okay. I have trouble keeping up with my own real world faith sometimes. And now you're asking me to go figure out what these fictional faiths are doing. So,
well, you're not running the game, so it's fine.
That's true. That's true. I'm just saying that for a GM, that could add a bit more work, a bit more prep that honestly we don't all necessarily want to do. But with that said, that's part of the reason that I would go with just the D6 mechanic. It's just an easy way to think about it, because also, now you're adding in the complications. Oh, is the Paladin doing something right? Is the Paladin doing something, are they being influenced? If you want to get into it, you can. But if you want just a simple mechanic, you got a 1 in 3 chance that it was the demon that was talking instead of the quote unquote good guys. So, and then Malachi.
I'm not saying that Tira would necessarily be evil. I'm just saying that compared to what the Silver Flame is nowadays, Tira's more Paladin of Dolara would have a slightly different ethics to the Silver Flame.
And I do not disagree with you at all. If you want to get complicated on it, you absolutely can, and I am totally here for it. I'm just proposing the D6 roll just as a simple mechanic.
Yeah.
So, but then Malachi does have a good point. Paladin influenced by a demon. Would he or she still be a paladin?
Well, according to 5th edition, yes, you'd be an Oathbreaker.
Or you just be a paladin that worshiped the dark gods, because heaven forbid, like, a paladin actually mean anything.
Oh, you mean like how in Eberron specifically states that because the gods are imaginary, and so paladins don't actually lose their power, clerics don't actually lose their power if they break from their faith? Ex-paladins and ex-clerics aren't a thing?
Yeah, but that's Eberron. That's, again, you can't... Remember, you said it earlier... You can't use Eberron as the baseline.
Yeah, but I'm specifically referring to this. This is Eberron.
So with this, I would say that
the Paladin wouldn't lose their power if they were being influenced by the Raja. Their power would just change.
I would have to look into it some more, but I am still of the school that, like, because I think even in 3rd edition, like, a paladin still had to be lawful good. No, even in Eberron.
They had to be aligned to their god.
Was that in 3rd edition?
Yep.
I think 3rd edition. I think 3rd edition is still, you have like lawful good.
Well, once we get up to the Faiths of Eberron, I think it is, and the prestige class for the Silver Flame in 2981, will be able to see that don't necessarily have to be lawful or good. It's based on being a member of the Silver Flame. It's based on the organization, not the alignment.
Yeah. I'll have to dig into that some more because that, even with it being Eberron and having some more gray areas, like I saw something the other day that if everything is morally gray, then you can't tell a good story. You need the absolute good. You need the absolute evil so that, like when you have this morally gray character, you understand why they're morally gray. But if everything is morally gray, it kind of loses it. So I think I'm still in favor of a paladin having to be, I'll clarify. At least good aligned.
Well, see, this is where I would say that the alignment doesn't necessarily have to be part of it, because being part of the Order of the Silver Flame is the requirement for the paladin, right? So you can still have that, in general terms, black and white nature without having to bring the alignment section into it, because how it's being how it's set up in Eberron is that the alignment doesn't dictate the actions, the morals do.
Yeah.
So you can play with the fact that you can have an evil character inside the Silver Flame being influenced by the Raja and still have the power of the Silver Flame. It's just being worked towards darkness. It's the flip of your turn undead is now rebuke undead.
Yeah. I get it.
So it's still got the black and white nature to it. You understand once we actually play 3.5 in, 5172.
Exactly. All right. Let's see here.
We're up to Valinor.
We are. Actually, I need to look. Okay, we are not.
We are not moving fast enough.
We are not moving fast enough, but we've had such a great conversation. I don't care.
It's the metaphysical and philosophical natures.
All right. Well, let's do this. We've got 2 nations of Corvair left.
Yep.
Let's get those done. And then next week we'll talk about it. Let's get these last 2 done. That way we can say all the major nations of Corvair are done.
All right. Valinor. 10,000 years ago, the elves of Aranel established a settlement on the southern shore of Corvair. Initially, the Hobgoblin Emperor was pleased to have a center for trade with the elves, but over the course of the next century, his relationship soured and turned to war. The elves could not match the numbers of the goblinoids and were driven back to Aranel. War between the empires continued sporadically over the next few centuries. Ultimately, both Hobgoblin and Elf agreed to respect the current borders. The elves would hold their island continent, and the Hobgoblins would continue to dominate the mainland. Millennia passed, and the Hobgoblin Empire of the Dakhan crumbled to dust. By the time of King Jord of Galifar, the land once contested by hobgoblins and elves was part of the realm of Sire. Much of the region was sparsely populated, with the occasional human village, migrating halfling tribe, and a handful of hobgoblin clans hiding in the shadows. When the last war began, Sire came under attack from all sides and quickly sought allies. While the undying court of Aranel had no interest in returning to Corvair, the Sirens drew the interest of the Valis Tan. These militant elves had long sought an opportunity to test their blades in epic battle, and they were only too willing to enter the fray. For decades, the elves fought on the side of Sire, battling Talenta warbands, hobgoblin mercenaries, and forces of Breland and Karnath. They fought for the love of battle and gold, not loyalty to Sire. Then, in 956 YK, the elves took action that surprised the Sirens and the other 5 nations. War leader Sharash Vadelia proclaimed that his people had ties to the land from a time before human feet touched the soil of Corvair, and that his soldiers had restored those ties with spilled blood. Vadelia declared himself High King of the new nation of Valinor, and his warriors have been fortifying their position and slowly expanding their borders ever since. The Valinor elves have no interest in peace, but they participated in the talks at Thronehold to gauge the measure of their enemies and to gain acceptance in the human courts. Today, Valinor warbands continue to clash with Karanathi forces, and raids into the Talenta Plains and Kabara occur on a regular basis. Now that the last war has come to an end, it remains to be seen whether the Treaty of Thronehold can end this elven aggression.
Okay. War elves, I was not ready for. To put it, like, to kind of sum that up. Especially because we're usually presented elves as just like, oh, it's the peaceful people of the trees. And this is like, nope, we're coming in and we're taking over. Even though you didn't realize we were doing that.
Also, blood for the blood god.
Right. We have spilled blood. It is ours now. I
mean, you expect that from the drow in other settings, but the normal elves?
Right. So in Valinor, that's home to at least one of the dragon marked houses, right?
Technically 2.
Yeah, because the Valinor war horses, trying to see. Valinor primarily exports the service of its warriors brokered through House Deneth. Which 2 dragon-marked houses?
Oh, maybe they're not.
House Lorandar.
No. Right above it. Houses Thorani and Firlan
are not welcome.
Yes, but they're
House Vidalis has been banned. Okay, hold on. Let's back up real quick. Due to the fluid structure of Valinor, few groups have great influence in the land. Each war clan is a military force to be reckoned with, but most are concerned with winning glory in battle than with political intrigue. The dragon-marked houses operate in Ter Velestus, but only House Lorandar has significant influence in the realm. House Vidalis has been banned for horse stealing, and houses Thorani and Fjarlan are not welcome. Those are the 2 houses of shadow.
Yeah.
So the spies. The spies aren't welcome. And Vidalis keeps stealing the horses. So okay,
yeah,
they're throwing all sorts of twists I was not ready for.
Yeah. So you've got the 2 half-elf houses, which are Vidalis and Loranda, and then you've got the 2 elven Dragonmark houses of Thorani and Fjarlan. And only one of them is welcome.
That's true. Well, no, well, and all the other houses are still present. But that is interesting. Of all the elven houses, only one is allowed.
And they're half elves.
Right. and these are regular full elves. So okay.
So major settlements?
Yeah. The Valis Terran have little love for cities, but every kingdom needs a throne, and High King Vidalia has a seat in Ter Velastus, located in the center of located in the center of the kingdom. Ter Velastus is a city built for war. Towers and walls formed of stone and densewood are designed to resist fire and force. In addition to the royal palace, outposts of most of the dragon-marked houses, and a marketplace where foreigners come to sell their wares. Ter Velastus contains the primary temple of the Keepers of the Past and a vast arena used for training, races, and other displays of equestrian skill. Yeah, this is... Oh, you know what? Actually, let's... So there's our capital. They've clearly claimed part of the Talenta Plains.
So while you've got that up, I'm just going to start reading the important site because there's only the one. Ter Sedin. This fortress, built during the Age of Monsters, was the site of a terrible final battle between the elves and hobgoblins. The ruins have never been found. A powerful elven curse pulled the fortress out of time. And when the stars and the rings of Sybaris align, Ter Sedin reappears for a night, the battle still raging. So
Interesting.
Point that out. That means because Ter is fort, right?
Right.
So all the places marked with Ter are forts.
Okay.
The entire border is basically covered in fortified villages.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, Vidalis comes in and he's like, oh, yeah, we'll totally help you fight this war. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm taking this land back. I like, obviously this is, reading into the story that hasn't been presented. But if it were me, okay, the hobgoblins are gone. They kicked us out of Valinar. So wait a second, there's this war going on. Cool, let's go take it. They're too busy fighting themselves. Oh, we shed blood for this. We're taking the land back now. It's ours. That totally like I could easily see that being the reason that all went down. All right. Adventure idea. A Valinor warband raided a caravan crossing the Talenta Plains. Among the captives taken by the elves is the son of a Carnathi noble. Adventurers are hired to track the warband and rescue the young heir before the elves get too deep into Valinor and rejoin with their war clan. Okay. Makes sense to me.
Yep.
All right. Let us knock this out because I am also going to have to go in a moment because I got work tonight.
Yep.
All right. The gnomes of Corvair have lived in the area known as Largo for thousands of years. Situated between the Howling Peaks and the Seawall Mountains, the gnomes have thrived despite incursions. The gnomes have thrived despite incursions by and conflicts with goblinoids, kobolds, and humans. They have always managed to maintain their independence, winning battles with words that they could never win with swords. After Galifar established his kingdom, he eventually set his sights on Zalargo. The gnomes met his forces in the valley north of Dragonroost and immediately surrendered. During the negotiations, the gnome became an independent province within the kingdom. Galifar left in victory, and the gnomes secured a safe place in the new kingdom, all without spilling a drop of blood. Relying on wisdom and cunning, along with elemental-bound items and illusions, gnomes can be surprisingly dangerous opponents. During the last war, Zilargo spent part of the conflict as a neutral observer before aligning with Breland in 962 YK. From that point on, the gnomes provided intelligence and elemental-bound weapons to Breland while avoiding most combat. As a result, Zilargo emerged from the last war stronger than ever, and Breland owes the gnomes a debt for services they rendered.
Which, if you've seen Braylon's stat block and his elemental bound armor and equipment, yeah, that was pretty obvious that they had a treaty going on, an alliance going on.
That's fair. So again, another section where, like, I mean, unfortunately, because of time, we're having to skip over a lot, but they're still keeping it fairly vague.
Yep.
But let's see here. All right. Oh, so this is our home. This is the home of Korenberg.
Yep.
Also known as, printing place of the Korenberg Chronicle.
Yep.
All right.
Are you really surprised that gnomes were the the blabbermouths?
That's fair. All right. Tell us about Korenberg.
Okay. Nestled against the base of the Seawall Mountains, Korenberg is the oldest city in Zilargo, since it is home to the famous library and the gnomish colleges. Many aristocrats of other nations come to study in Korenberg. The ancestral citadel of House Civis is located here, as well as a host of temples, including the Codex Vault, Corvair's largest shrine to Orion.
Okay.
And important sites, we've just got the one as well.
Yeah, Pollard Drawl, this ruined city which extends below the surface of the earth, has belonged to gnomes, humans, kobolds, and originally hobgoblins. The Library of Korenberg has acquired a wealth of information from Pollard Drawl about the Empire of Dakan, and some believe it still holds a wealth of hidden secrets. Okay, so it's over here.
Yep. Well, I guess that top one works for adventuring ideas. The Keshvala hold the key to a network of catacombs beneath Paleo Dral and have sent soldiers to scour the labyrinth for relics of the Lost Empire.
I mean, that's you know what? I'm actually, I was thinking about it, I'm like, that's just a simple dungeon crawl. And it's like, you know what? Why not just suggest a simple dungeon crawl? It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be crazy. It's just like, hey, here's a location. We've already established that it's been occupied for thousands of years. There's probably dungeons and stuff. Go send them on a quest to find a +2 magic sword.
Yeah.
Done.
Like, Zilargo is 100% the place to dungeon crawl.
I thought that was Zendrick.
Well, Zendrick is more of a campaign dungeon crawl. This is where you can knock out 1 or 2 sessions of just a dungeon crawl type thing.
Got it. So about 3 years of gameplay then.
My current game, yes.
Yeah, right. That's what. Okay. It took you a little while to grab that one.
No, I just didn't want to say it.
All right. Actually, you know what? Let me. Where is it?
View page display.
There we go. Yep. And there we go. So that's the other thing. This is all we've been talking about is just this island.
No, a little RNL right below it. A little smudged below.
No, we have Aranel. We haven't gotten to Aranel.
Yeah, no, but it's been mentioned several times at least.
That's true. I'm just talking for life in the world. Like life in the
Yeah,
world,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is all we've been talking about is right here.
And
So
not even that northern part up there either.
yeah,
Just,
not this,
just
just this.
yep, just that. Just that.
So yeah, it's all right. So in the interest of time, since we've got like just a few minutes left, outside of some exceptions, I'm very happy with this. I think they did well at putting it together. I think they did well at trying to inspire different ideas, like we were saying earlier with the halflings. If you want to make your own culture, if you want to do your own stuff, you're going to pull pieces from other cultures that you are aware of.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a culture that hasn't tried something.
Yeah.
So yeah, this has been fun. I was actually shocked. Like, I don't think we've done as well at coming up with just adventure hooks and adventure ideas in our previous episodes as we did today.
Not like we've done in this recording. Yeah.
Yeah,
this has been exceptional.
Yeah, I was hoping to get farther, but I don't care because it's like we actually covered a lot. So, anyway, that's.
And if anyone uses any of these adventuring ideas that we spouted out during this video, let us know in the comments how it went.
Please comment down below. Comment down below if you like, or in chat, whatever. It's all good. Comment just like on what do you think of the ideas that we presented. Like all of this was just kind of spitballing, sitting around talking. So
anyways, 2 dudes in a book.
2 dudes in a book, exactly. All right. Well, on that note, because of the time, is there anything else you want to mention or say?
No, I will keep your monetization this time.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed it. We've got a couple weeks left. At least next week we're going to finish off Life in the World. And possibly start the next chapter. We'll have to look at it, but anyways, we've got like 2-3 weeks, and then to cap it all off, Seraphis is going to run a one-shot. It might take 2 sessions, but essentially we're just going to do a one-shot adventure. It's the Forgotten Forge that comes at the back of the Eberron campaign setting, so you can get an idea of how the characters play, kind of bring in some of all the things that we've talked about. So keep an eye out for that. So share it with your friends, share it with your enemies, family, kids, whatever. I don't care. Just tell people about it. It'll be fun. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Like the video even if you hate all of the suggestions that I made, and my devotion to the Silver Flame. That's okay. The lycanthropes did everything wrong. But on that note, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. And we will be back next Wednesday for more Eberron.